Israel Whitley was just 21 when he started his labour hire company, Auckland Labour Hire, whose investors include former Air New Zealand boss Rob Fyfe, his wife, and model casting agency owner Sarah Tetro, and John D. Edgar, whose family are on NBR's rich list. Mr. Whitley told NBR's Fiona Rotherham that it really is lonely at the top.
Millennials cop a lot of flack for being entitled or lazy. Given you're one of them, what do you say in defence of millennials in business?
To be honest, I probably wouldn't like to go and defend them all. I think, that's a hard question itself. There's not too much to say about anyone else apart from myself, really. There's been a couple of people who I've surrounded myself with who I think is a bit different to the rest of them. But I think we're all out there to prove our own points, and the majority aren't really doing it in the best way possible, I think.
You've got a mantra that hard work works. Don't you need more than just hard work, though, to make a business successful?
I think hard work's a massive aspect of it. I think there's luck comes in with everything. But yeah, I think it's a good old saying, talent can only get you so far, and hard work gets you the rest. I'd never really identify myself to being someone who had loads of talent, but more of a work rate. And I think I worked hard, and the harder you work, the luckier you get. And I got pretty lucky with some of the people who I tripped upon, who kind of helped take my business to the next level. So,
you were just 21 when you started your labour hire company. What was your motivator?
I was actually in hospital at the time when I decided what I was going to do. I'd just been diagnosed with a pretty significant heart disease, which kind of stopped me in my tracks of what I was doing, which was a bit of football. And I thought, well, I can't do that anymore, so how am I going to earn a little bit of money to get me through university, which I was currently at and seriously struggling at. So being that I was a builder, I was doing my building apprenticeship prior to university and football, I thought, well, football and building's all I know, so I'll go and have a little nibble back in the building trade, but I don't really want to get back on the tools just yet. So despite myself actually going out and doing some of the labouring, that was kind of my motive, and then just giving it a go because that's all I really knew, really.
What have you found the hardest about running your own business?
The thing that I've found the hardest, it is what people say, it's a lonely grind. The late nights and the early mornings when you're doing it by yourself. I'd probably, it sounds a bit funny, but I'd just definitely say probably the loneliness and being out there by yourself, and despite being surrounded by people, you do feel a bit lonely.
How do you overcome that?
You just got to keep working. You just as soon as you accept that that's what's part of it, then it becomes a bit easier to understand and cope with it. So once you realise that, all right, you need to make this loneliness your friend, then things can come a bit easier. But yeah, that would definitely be, for me, the hardest thing that I've found.
How big has the company grown?
In terms of staff, on-site staff, we had an average of 99 on-site staff last week. So 2.5 years ago, the company was just incorporated. So we've had 129% growth in our revenue this financial year opposed to the last one.
And to what? Can you give us figures on that?
So we'll come in just shy of, or just under 3 million in revenue this financial year.
And you're profitable yet or no?
Yeah, profitable, yeah. And in the last year we did 1.2, 1.3 million. So yeah, we're on the right track, but we know we've got a long way to go, especially for our end goal. So if we can kind of keep that projected forecast at that kind of level, then we'll be happy. So
when I googled labour hire companies, yours didn't come to the top of the list. Mm-hmm. How do you market your company ahead of, there's quite a few competitors in the business? Yeah,
it's a really competitive market, especially at the moment. And I think you'll see if you look into the skyline, there's cranes everywhere. Everyone's wanting a piece of the pie, so there's always a newcomer to the market. Our biggest, I guess, point of difference has been an organic one, and that's pushed our environment. We've really prioritised creating the best environment we can in the construction industry, and with that comes respect, and with respect comes a better reputation. We've become more reliable. We become a more positive kind of atmosphere, really, to have on your site. So that, and funny enough, we took a bit of a stab at dark making a couple hoodies and t-shirts and stuff with ALH all over it, and they went off like a firecracker. So that was good. So that was probably our best form of marketing, actually. So that
Having staff walking around with your
we have staff
company
walking
logos.
around. We have people I've got no idea who are wearing them. So, but look, it's marketing, right? So if we've got walking billboards, then that's doing something right. So
I note on your company website that you provide bottles of water and sunscreen to your workers that are out in the weather. How important is that to you in terms of health and safety?
health and safety itself is massively important.
Because it's not always been that great in the industry, has it?
It's not always been that great. That covers a range of aspects, right? That covers everyone keeping safe physically, but we're very focused now on covering health and safety to a point psychologically as well, right? If people's heads aren't in the right spaces, then we need to know that, because then that can be a compounding issue to accidents on site. So it's very important. We're in the process right now of bringing on someone internally to look after that in itself, just so we can be ahead of the ball.
But, these are blokes. Do they really want to talk about that stuff?
They are blokes. Do they want to talk about it? Not really. That's something we're trying to encourage, and that's something that we find, the old good pint of Coke on a Friday, Thursday, whenever, and a sit down can encourage those conversations. If they're not encouraged the first time, then normally the second or third time we can get a bit more of a personal feel with everyone. So yeah, I think that goes back to our environment and creating a really personable environment for us. Helps us out with our health and safety too, ideally. So
You've expanded beyond Auckland, but you're Auckland labour hire. How does that work?
Yeah, we obviously started off at Auckland Labour Hire. When I first started the company, I only really wanted it to be about 10 to 20 strong in staff. That was my vision, and that's what I thought we would tap out. So I never thought of naming it anything other than Auckland Labour Hire. As we've gone outside of Auckland, we've just kind of gone for ALH and dropped the Auckland Labour Hire. We're in Wellington and Tauranga, Hamilton, and as of yesterday, Gisborne. So yeah, we just stay strong with the ALH and make sure that we keep the Auckland out of it. I'm not an Auckland boy, born and raised.
Gisborne,
So yeah, I am from Gisborne. So I hate getting labelled a Jaffa, but no disrespect to Aucklanders. But yeah, so that's how we've gone about it. So we've just kind of gone with ALH.
You've only been going for 2.5 years, but you've done 2 capital raises. How did you find that process? Because you must have been new to it.
Incredibly exciting and incredibly stressful. I couldn't have imagined that I would have ever had a company which was realistically had the potential for people to even be interested in fostering thoughts about that. The first one was just as stressful, if not more stressful than the second one. But yeah, I think you work hard and you get a bit lucky and you trip upon the right people, and those people. Two of the 3 who are involved in the company are, for me personally, massive, and on a business aspect, massive for me as well. So
you've got Rob Fife and Sarah Tetro as some of your shareholders.
Yep.
Are they giving more than money?
Yeah. Look, they definitely give more than money. They keep me incredibly honest and incredibly grounded. They're a great support crew for me. Like I said, outside of business and inside of it. And I think the cool thing is when you've got people with the reputation that they do, it's an easy transition to make from personal to business. But when it's business time, it's definitely business time. And yeah, no, they're just incredibly helpful. Money's been one aspect, but I think that's probably been the least beneficial aspect that we've got in return from having Rob and Sarah on board. So
they're your informal advisory board.
Yeah. So they're always keen for a chat. I probably hound them a little bit too much, but they're always happy, and they'll get back to me when the time's right. So yeah.
Your own history has had its tough points. You've been open about your father's suicide, and you've been open about your own health issues. What have those experiences taught you, and how do you think that helps you in business?
I think they've just made me grow up a lot quicker than anyone my own age. I'm 24. I definitely don't feel it. I feel like I'm 34 going on 35. So I think they've just given me actually no other option but to sink or swim. And I just flapped my arms as quickly as I could and ended up swimming. So just growing up and seeing the world from a bit of a different perspective. Obviously, losing your dad for anyone is bad and tough, but at a young age, as a bloke, it can be a bit tougher. So yeah, I just had to learn on the go and make sure that what my upbringing kind of taught me stayed with me, and not to veer off track with that. And that was just to stay focused and do what I thought was best. So.
You mentioned that you never imagined having a company this size. What's your ambition now, though? Has that changed?
Yeah, that probably changes every week. That's an answer I don't have a definite. That's a question I don't have a definite answer for, but we're definitely looking to kind of get into the 8 figures kind of thing. That's what we want our revenue stream to be at. The sooner the better. So we're looking at ideally we're looking for a 70 to 75% growth in our revenue this upcoming financial year, and we don't really see why we can't maintain something like that for the next few years. So and we've got a couple interesting projects on the horizon as well. So
can you talk about those?
No, not. They're still in the pipeline. So maybe there'll become a time where we can. But look, at the moment I'm really focused on Auckland labour hire, and will be for a while. It's my baby, so I don't think I'll ever veer off with that. But yeah, so I don't know, as big as we can get. The end product for us is initially. Well, it's funny. When I started, if I could get 126 people, that was my model to let me know that we were successful and I'd given business a good go. When I went and did my proposal to Rob on the second capital, Rob and John Tenzara, they said, I said, look, I want 422, and then that was pushing the boat out, and then there's been discussions with a couple laughs, but I know they're pretty serious that we think we can get to 1,000. So why not, right? So that's kind of our focus. So.
All right. Well, thanks very much, Israel Whitley.
Thank you. Cheers.